You know, when I watched this movie yesterday, I could have been watching other things. Disney Plus just came out. I could have been watching something like Lady and the Tramp, or Noelle, or the first episode of The Mandalorian, which I eventually did watch. But no, I decided to watch Playing with Fire instead. Oh my god. Playing with Fire. Playing with Fire, or as I like to call it, Playing with Feces, more on that later, is the newest comedic classic directed by Andy Fickman, who's known for such comedic classics as She's the Man, Who's Your Daddy? What's another one? Race to Witch Mountain, You Again, The Game Plan, and of course, who could forget Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. But yeah, it's directed by Andy Fickman, and this one stars John Cena, Keegan-Michael Key, John Leguizamo, Judy Greer, Tyler Mane, Brianna Hildebrand, among others. Pretty talented cast. But yeah, it stars these guys, and basically what this movie centers around is these firefighters known as smoke jumpers, basically guys that jump out of airplanes and helicopters and stuff into wildfires to fight them. But yeah, they're fighting this wildfire. They find these 3 kids trapped in a cabin, and they rescue these 3 kids, and then they find out that their parents won't be able to pick them up for a few days, and so they're forced to babysit these 3 kids until their parents come to pick them up. And hilarious hijinks ensue. Oh boy, let's get into Playing with Fire, shall we? Because I have a lot to say. Believe it or not, I actually do have one positive with this movie. One positive. And basically, it involves John Cena in a bunk bed. And this scene came off so dumb that I was laughing hysterically unintentionally. It was unintentionally hilarious. So yeah, that's a new accomplishment. You don't see that a lot, where you unintentionally laugh at something that's supposed to be intentionally funny. But I did, because it was so stupid. You know what it reminded me of? You know those internet cat videos where someone puts a cucumber next to a cat, and the cat turns around and jumps a mile in the air and then crashes into something usually? It reminded me of that. And that's why I found it so funny. But otherwise, that's my only positive. Alright, strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, because I have a lot to talk about with this movie, so let's get right into it. First of all, let's start off with all the characters in this movie. The acting's horrible, just get that out of the way first. But first of all, you have John Cena in this movie. He basically plays this, dictator, complete douchebag, tough guy, firefighter, and he just acts all tough, and he's the hot guy, according to Judy Greer's character and a couple other characters in this movie. Yeah, there's a scene in this movie where a woman, he rescues a woman, and the woman's like, "Oh, you're so hot, take me home," right in front of her husband, dick. But yeah, he's basically this complete douchebag, tough guy character. And then, let's get to Keegan-Michael Key. Keegan-Michael Key, oh my god. This guy, I swear to God, he has a crush on John Cena's character in this movie. Because every time one of the kids, talks down to John Cena, Keegan-Michael Key's right there with his signature whoosh sound that he always makes every time he steps in. He's like, "Don't talk to soups like that." He always calls them soups. Dumb. And yeah, it's such a stupid gimmick. That's his whole gimmick throughout the movie. And he's just an annoying, obnoxious asshole who just, oh my god, he got on my nerves. And then there's John Leguizamo. Oh my god, arguably one of the worst characters of the year. He's just a complete moronic idiot throughout the entire movie. He's absolutely horrible. And then we get to, let's see, who else we got? Judy Greer. Oh my god. Judy Greer as the Dr. Amy Hicks. Her whole gimmick in this movie is to be like this creep-ass, like, I don't know. She basically creeps and stalks John Cena as like this love interest. And this goes on throughout the entire movie. It's so obnoxious and irritating to the point where you just want to take a drink every time she comes up on screen. And then you have Tyler Mane as this guy who just stands there looking at the kids with this intimidating look on his face. He has a fire axe in his hand. He's like, like, who are you, Terrence from Angry Birds? Oh my god. And then he does something in the final act. Oh, I'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, he doesn't speak until that point in the final act, which again I'll talk about later. But his whole gimmick is so dumb. It's literally a ripoff of Terrence from the Angry Birds movie. And then, oh my god, the three kids. You want to talk about annoying, obnoxious, stupid, spoiled, annoying brats. I was wishing these kids would get thrown back into the wildfire because they were that obnoxious. Starting with Brianna Hildebrand's character, oh my god. You want to talk about a stuck-up, spoiled, annoying little brat. Like, she always talks down to John Cena, like, whenever she gets the chance, basically. And it's like, he just saved you from a wildfire, and you're gonna act like this towards him? This is how you thank him. He just saves you from a wildfire, and this is how you thank him. Yeah, that's the logic that happens throughout this movie. And then you have the little boy who's just an idiot. He does dumb things throughout the entire movie. There's a scene involving a fire hose, which made me cringe. And then, of course, you have my least favorite character in the movie, the little girl. Her whole gimmick, and keep in mind, she's like 4 or 5 years old, I think. Like, I don't know her exact age, but she looks like she's about 4 or 5 years old. Her whole gimmick is, oh, I have a boom boom. I have a boom boom. That's her whole gimmick throughout the movie. Poop jokes. Throughout the entirety of the movie. It's like, she's like 4 or 5 years old. How the hell is she not toilet trained? Makes no goddamn sense. So yeah, those are all the characters in this movie. And then we have the humor. Is this movie funny? Hell no. It's torture. It's pure torture. Why? Because most of the humor in this movie is just your typical lowbrow, bottom of the barrel, slapstick, and poop joke humor that only like 5-year-old idiots would laugh at. It's that bad. Especially the poop jokes. Oh my god. Like, there's this one joke that goes on for several minutes where a firefighter is wearing a gas mask, right? This gas mask, it's meant, like, normally it keeps out nuclear particles, right? And allows you to breathe oxygen. Well, guess what? The firefighter could still smell the poop through this gas mask. Logic. No common sense at all. There's none of it in this movie. Like, it's just that way throughout the entirety of the movie. That's the humor in this movie. I did not laugh once, other than that unintentionally hilarious scene. And yeah, you have more slapstick, more poop jokes, characters being annoying, obnoxious assholes. Every character in this movie is either a complete douchebag, an annoying, obnoxious asshole, or just this unlikable, spoiled brat. Every character. There's no likable characters in this movie. And the worst part is, this cast is talented. I've seen John Cena do some funny things before. Watch Blockers. That's a perfect example. Keegan-Michael Key. He's normally really funny. He had Toy Story 4 earlier this year. There's Keanu, which came out back in 2016. Underrated comedy, by the way. Go see it if you haven't seen it. And John Leguizamo. He was so good in the first Ice Age movie. Ignore the rest of them, because the rest of them are pretty bad, but he was so good in that first Ice Age movie. Judy Greer. Yeah, Judy Greer. Talented actress. Brianna Hildebrand. She was so good in Deadpool. What was this all about? Oh, I know what it was all about. Andy Fickman. This guy. Like, I went over some of the movies that he's done in the past. He's not a good director. He's just not. He's terrible. He's absolutely terrible. He doesn't know how to do family comedy movies because they're all so cringeworthy and they resort to the lowbrow, bottom-of-the-barrel kiddie humor. And, yeah, people are going to say, oh, it's just a kid's film. Screw that. I don't lower my standards just because it's a kid's film. I mean, if you want a good kid's film, watch Inside Out or something like that. Or Toy Story 4, How to Train Your Dragon films. Anything like that. There's a whole lot of them out there better than this. Or even some of the Disney live-action remakes. Go watch those. Like, forget about Maleficent and Maleficent Mistress of Evil and Alice in Wonderland and all that. But, yeah, a lot of the Disney live-action remakes are way better than this I could ever dream of being. And then let's get to some of the other stuff, especially toward the third act of this movie. Okay, first of all, there's a time in this movie, and this is something I absolutely despise with comedies. Characters are annoying, obnoxious assholes for the first 2/3 of the movie, and then there's a point in the movie where they try and make you feel sorry for them. Guess what? That's in this movie. It's monotonous. It's redundant. It's pathetic. Stop trying to make us feel sorry for characters that we don't like. It's not going to work. And then the third act of this movie happens, and it's just, oh my god, it was so cringe. There's one scene in this movie involving Tyler Mane's character. I mentioned him earlier. He sings the My Little Pony theme song. I'm not kidding. When this happened, I had to stop the movie and go on a 30-minute walk just to calm down. I'm not kidding. That is actually what happened. I was so mad that I had to take a 30-minute break and go on a walk. It's things like that that make family comedies like this one of the worst genres in film. Because, like, this happens in a lot of family comedies. But anyway, yeah, to all the My Little Pony fans out there, like, I'm not a brony myself. I've never liked My Little Pony, but I know a few people that are bronies and do really like My Little Pony. For those people, I am so sorry that you had to go through this while watching this movie. Like, I really am, because that was just beyond insulting. This movie is just an insult to my intelligence. I was losing IQ points throughout the entire thing. I felt like it's a movie that makes you feel dumber than you really are. And that's what I absolutely cannot stand about comedies. So yeah, Playing with Fire, Playing with Feces is a better name for it. Speaking of which, there's not even that much firefighting in the movie. And another thing, the freaking soundtrack of this movie. The soundtrack is all songs that have a reference to fire in some way. Like, the opening song is Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars. That's the opening song, because I guess it mentions fire at some point. I don't even know if it does, to be honest. But yeah, most of the songs mention fire. Like, they might not even be about fire, but they do mention fire. I mean, you might as well throw Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force somewhere in the soundtrack. Seriously. Like, if you're going to be that lazy, then just throw that song in there. Or even Ring of Fire. Like, yeah, they do have Ring of Fire in this movie. Johnny Cash, I'm so sorry. He's probably rolling in his grave. But, yeah, like, they do have a cover of Ring of Fire. John Cena sings it. It's pathetic. But, yeah. you might as well have put the Dragon Force version of Ring of Fire in there as well. But yeah, like, this movie is just absolutely pathetic. There's nothing funny about this movie. The characters are all unlikable. It's your typical family comedy that Andy Fickman would do, and it pretty much shows that Andy Fickman just needs to stop making movies. He just needs to stop. And everyone who's responsible for this movie, they can take a cactus and freaking, like, shove it down their throats. I'm not kidding. So, yeah, as you can tell, Playing with Fire is playing with feces, and it's a piece of garbage. It's a piece of flaming hot diarrhea lava dumpster fire garbage. So, yeah, I can't give this movie a 0 as much as I want to, because there was one moment where I did laugh unintentionally. But nonetheless, this is easily one of the worst movies of the year. If you haven't seen it, don't waste your time. Like, really, just don't waste your time. Only see it if you need worse-list material. But otherwise, just don't waste your time. Don't spend any money. Don't even waste your time watching it online if you don't have to. Yeah, don't watch it. It's a piece of garbage. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to give Playing with Feces a 1% rotten rating. That is a big F. Yeah, I mean, this movie is without question an F. It's one of the worst movies I've seen this year. It's one of the worst comedies I've seen this year. It's John Cena's worst performance. It's pretty much Keegan-Michael Key's worst performance. Like, every actor or actress in this movie pretty much gives out their worst performance of their entire career. Like, even Tyler Mane, who played Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween films. But, yeah, those garbage movies. But, yeah, anyway, there's my rant on Playing with Fire, aka Playing with Feces. If you guys have seen the movie, what did you think about it? Did you hate it as much as I did, or did you find some redeeming qualities to it somehow? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it, and what's the worst comedy that you've seen this year so far. Let me know down below what your worst comedy of the year is so far. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button, hit the like on this video, and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the future. I've seen a bunch of movies over the past weekend, so I'm not going to review every one of them, but I'll pick out a couple to review. I might even post a poll on Twitter asking which movies I should review on this channel, but yeah. Make sure to subscribe for more content to come in the future, and until the next video, once again, my name is the California Cougar, and always remember to stay California cool. Peace.